Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing with the beautiful Megan Quinlan's stencils and creating a page blending some of those together. So I'm working my Large Dilutions journal and I'm just going in with some gesso to begin with. I'm putting it across the middle of the page. Now I had a bit of an idea of what I wanted to do with this, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I'm just going in and adding a little bit of colour first. I've got some of my magenta, then I've gone in with Tangelo, which is gorgeous orange, and then some yellow. So it's got some really warm colours in the background. I haven't cleaned off my brush in between, so you can sort of see I've got a bit of colour mixing happening there, which I don't mind too much. And then I'm going in with a little bit of cheddar, which is sort of that orangey yellow colour. So it's got a really sort of warm background happening here. So the first stencil that I am using is this big stencil from Stencil Girl. And I'm going in with some neon paint over the top. Again, just to, it's almost like putting a filter over, so I'm just boosting the colour somewhat. And a lot of this is going to blend in together. A lot of it will stand out against the other colours. So I'm just randomly sort of mixing neon pink and neon orange over the top, and you can sort of see where they blend and contrast against each other. It's a really good way to make your backgrounds look a little bit less patchy because you're overlaying something over the top to tie it all together. So, you know, that yellow doesn't sort of stand out as just being a big patch of yellow. I decided though I did want to boost the yellow colour in it because I'd lost it a little bit, so I'm just going in with a little bit of neon yellow over the top as well to bring back a little bit of that yellow colour. So this is the first stencil from Megan, and it's a obviously a face sort of shadow stencil, and I wanted to create this idea of hair, I suppose, coming backwards, flowing backwards. So you can sort of see where I've wiped away part of the stencil just with a wet stencil, with a wet wet wipe, and then I'm going in with some marine just to darken up some of that turquoise a little bit and create some shadows on it. So this is just giving a bit of a basis, I suppose, of where I'm going to put the rest of what I'm doing. I'm going in with the Stabilo Oil Pencil just to give some shadows to that face so it steps out a little bit. And there's something, I think it's about the shape of the hair. It reminds me of an Egyptian pharaoh. It's just, every time I look at this page, it just reminds me of an Egyptian pharaoh. It's quite bizarre. This is the second stencil, which is a gorgeous one. And I know Megan has said that there's a set of 3 stencils, and one's of her grandmother, one's of her, and one's of her daughter. I'm not sure which one's which, but they're all beautiful, so it's a fun way to work. With this stencil of the girl in the middle of the hair, she gives me the idea that she's balancing on something. So I wanted to sort of create someone sort of sitting on a balance, a wire, a line that they're sitting on. I did do it from her hands across, and then realized obviously that, you know, that wouldn't actually work. Gravity doesn't quite work that way, so I had to go back and rework that. And that's the beauty of working with acrylic in the background and then putting the Stabilo Oil Pencil over the top, because it is I can wipe any mistakes away, which I really like. So it gives you a little bit of freedom to do what you need to. I also just drew in the rest of her hand because she didn't have the hand. And this happens to be some of Megan's stamps as well from, what do you call it? Art Foamies. So this is a very Megan day when I was doing this. These are some alphabet stencils I got from Natalie May, and they come on large strips. Now I don't necessarily find that very easy to use, so I just cut them all apart. So I can pick out the individual letters. I think the idea is if they're all together like that, that you can stamp them out in a strip and cut them out and do that sort of thing. But I like using them this way, that I can move them around. So the quote that I was going to put in this page is "Life is a balance." And I'm just going sort of through and trying to fit the words in as best I can across the page. So I don't mind that they're going to sort of overlap over the image itself, because I'm just sort of moving it around, because it's all about balance. So I don't mind if it's unbalanced per se. Then I'm just going in and drying it off. So I often find, even though the archival ink does dry quite quickly, because I don't, what you see on video is what you get. Like, this is me working from start to finish. So I don't leave much time between doing one thing and the next. I don't leave things to dry. So I'm putting my hands basically over somewhere where I've just stamped. So I don't want it to smudge, which is why I hit it with a heat gun. I know most of you out there are a lot more patient than me and would probably walk away from the page, let it dry, and then come back and do something else later, but it's just not me. Once I'm in the flow, and I just keep going. So once I've done that, then I decided I really, really liked it, but I just needed to do something else. So I decided, I think, to put some journaling in here as well as a little bit of splatter, because I wanted it to look almost like a galaxy in the background. Excuse me. So again, with my white acrylic ink, just letting that dry, particularly if you want to do anything over the top of it, because obviously it sits in a little lump, it does take a little bit longer to dry, so just be aware of that. So you can, well, you can't see, you can see my iPad playing in the background, but I'm sort of just thinking about, is this finished, is this not finished, what am I going to do with this? So I decided I was going to do some journaling in her hair. And this is the song lyrics from a song called Tightrope from The Greatest Showman, which is one of my favourites. It's a very, I suppose, inconsequential song. It's not a big song like the rest of the show, but it really appeals to me. There's something about this song that's just, it's a quiet underachiever, and the lyrics are just beautiful about how we want the adventure, but we're always walking a tightrope, and it sits with me a lot, this quote. So it's something I really loved, and it certainly worked with the other quote as well to balance up the page. So this is a close-up. You see the beautiful stencils and how they work together, extending that background into the hair, using the idea of that tightrope to not only have the quote but to have the song lyrics to go with it, to balance it all up together. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and until next time, bye for now.